Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
So the Democrats and the Republicans have been fighting over a lot of stuff lately, whether it's the tariffs, whether it's the healthcare system, and I'm going to go ahead and share my thoughts on the matter. Most people don't care what goes on with the economy. Most people only care what's happening in their own homes, between their four walls. And I completely understand that. What directly impacts you and impacts your life is going to be paramount. No pun intended, as they're trying to buy that company from Warner Bros. Studios right under Netflix. And that hostile takeover that everybody's referring to, I do believe Paramount will win. But let's get back to the topic at hand. With the Democrats and the Republicans fighting over the healthcare system, I truly do believe that there's a lot of fraud within the healthcare system. The most expensive healthcare in the world is in America. Isn't that amazing? The people who should be the best and most well off should be able to truly afford a universal healthcare system at the cheapest cost possible to ensure that the most people are getting the help. If we just paid a flat tax and everybody could just get free healthcare. The problem is that not everybody works. The problem is that a lot of people can rely on the government. The problem is that a lot of people will just sit at home, create babies, and live off of the tax credits. Government assistance, food stamps, I think you call it EBT, Section 8 housing. Never leaving the communities in which you've been a part of for 20 plus years because you don't know any better. Never really being able to afford a better vehicle. Never really being able to own something like a home or a car outright, just buy it and pay it off. Because of wanting to be trapped in a system that you're most familiar with, a system in which it takes care of you and you feel comfortable, a system in which you're scared of growth because with that growth means you lose what you've had all along. And so when you start to say you must work in order to receive benefits, that starts to scare everyone. They start to figure out what is the minimum that I can do in order to receive this benefit. Now, with that being said, I want to get into the healthcare system as a whole. Before joining the military, I was paying for health insurance. I would never go to the doctor, but I was paying for health insurance because we all have to have it as people who value their lives and value their health. And with that being said, if I had a child today, I would then go and pay for health insurance because I understand that it's a need. People say it's a basic human right. We're not born with the right to someone to have to physically take care of you and nurse you back to health. It is a cost that you must pay for in order to receive a benefit, which is life. Life does cost. Like I said in the previous video, there is a transactional cost. However, when there's only 12 billion people in the U.S., there is absolutely no reason why we should be spending billions of dollars on a healthcare system to subsidize costs for each and every American. And I say each and every American, we all know that the top percentage earners are paying for the lion's share of people. And with the what the Republicans were fighting about was that those who are most in need of Obamacare and things like that, those who are most in need of an extension of some of these health care plans and programs were not the only ones that were receiving benefits. People who were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year can also apply for these programs and receive a discount in their premiums, or maybe even forego their premiums entirely. And so because the presidency and the Republican Party does not want to pay these big companies to simply sit back, do nothing, and pay the Democratic Party to continue to labor on their behalves, they said, you know what? If we are going to move forward, let's put the money in the hands of the American people and see what they do with it. Now, this is crazy, and it won't work. But it's crazy, it's funny, it's a nice experiment, and I'll tell you why it won't work. If you simply give the money to the American people, especially the poorest of the poor, are they going to go to the doctors? Are they going to go to the hospital and say, here's my premium, here's my coverage, here's the research that I'm going to do for my life, for my health, for my well-being? No. They may go to the first person that offers them and say, hey, zero down, come here. And then they'll be in perpetual debt forever when they're hit with these fees after their first visit. Yes, you paid nothing for the visit, but the cost of the service now is what is eating you alive. Or they'll just go ahead and spend the money. They'll spend the money that was handed to them. And so there has to be a different set of parameters that is not already built into the system and will not be built into the system come January when the government possibly gets shut down again for the same reasons. Mark my words, save this video, and understand that the government will possibly be shut down again because there will not be a resolution. They will talk about it, they will disagree, they will say no, and there will not be a resolution, because they do not have the infrastructure to simply just give money to the needy of the needy and say, buy health insurance. Here's the plans that you should be looking into. Here's the things that best affect you in your area, in your state, in your municipalities. No. They're not going to have all that data. They're not going to provide that to them. They're not going to supply them with the ammunition in which they need in order to make an informed decision. Instead, if they say, hey, give the money to the people, that sounds good, but but what does that truly do for them? It does nothing at all. Because a lot of people do not do enough research. A lot of people do not have the understanding that they need in order to flourish within society today without the help of someone backing them up, without the help of the government aiding them. To be guided through life like a child is where some people are simply at, with not only their health insurance, but with their finances in general. Without the government, they cannot survive. I call it daddy government for a lot of these Americans today. I, who am American myself, I have to just tell you the truth. So, tell me, what is your answer to all of this? Honestly, although I truly do believe that we should not continue to support a healthcare system that is corrupt, the fact that the Republican Party is probably not going to have a tangible resolution is going to be the biggest problem. Again, you should offer brochures in every state with the best providers to go to, with the best rates, with the best insurances that are being offered. But instead, you'll just say, give the money to the people and think that that's enough. No. Tell the people what it is that they're going to do. You're going to go to the cheapest healthcare provider that supports you. You're going to choose between 3 providers and which one best suits you. 3 insurance agencies and which one best suits you at a half the cost of what we were paying before. That is how it should be done. That is how it should be streamlined. Nobody affected, cost savings across the board, and all it took was a lot of research in all 50 states. Get 5 people to work on 10 states each over the last 2 months, and you would have had your resolution. Call up all these insurance agencies, figure out which ones give the best and lowest rate. In fact, just open a website and have them bid themselves. By the time you know it, it's $80 premiums. $80 premiums. And so, there's a boat that was missed because the work wasn't done, because the resolution was not met, and because the action wasn't taken. I'm not saying that websites can be built in a day. I know Rome wasn't built in a day. But what you can do is poll. What you can do is ask insurance agencies to reach out to you. What you can do is start to navigate through the emails, through all of the chains. People will respond when they see the media respond. You had all the press. You still have all the press. You can make these changes. You can make these things happen. And then it's up to the Democratic Party to say no to a cheaper healthcare system that still provides the same benefits that they were requesting in the first place. But instead, no action was taken. And can you imagine that I came up with all of that on the spot today as we speak? So you tell me how 50 people sitting in a room couldn't come up with that themselves. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You know I post on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify for podcasters, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.